All right, we're back.
Indeed.
What a session this morning.
Wonderful.
Mercy.
Powerful session. But we promised that Dan was going to come back with us. But before we do that, share a little nugget that you got. What you got from this morning?
Man, so the first gentleman got up, name escapes me right now, but he said, if you dislike charts, this is going to be the worst 20 minutes of your life. But it was the gentleman who introduced the world to the concept of the nuns.
Okay.
And he was talking about, and we've read books about the rise of the nuns.
Uh-huh.
It's that individual, those groups in particularly in the United States, who identify as non-religious.
Wow.
And so we're seeing that number is growing and growing and growing. What he spent some time deciphering for us was the different groups within that group.
Okay.
So I think many times when we think about the nuns, and those are the N-O-N-E-S, by the way, those are those groups that when they check surveys and you ask them what religious affiliation they belong to, instead of being Catholic or Hindu or even broader things like Christian or whatever, they select none. And so that number has been growing. We used to call the United States a Christian country. But with that number growing, we're seeing that America is becoming less and less Christian in that sense.
Wow.
But he took some time deciphering that number because the assumption is that those people are particularly either atheist or agnostic, saying that I don't have any religion. We assume that means that they don't believe in God.
Right.
He was showing that the data shows that the largest portion of the nuns are not people who are atheist or agnostic. They're just saying, and they use the term, meh. It's like they're just saying, I choose not to affiliate with any religious group.
Wow.
They're not necessarily saying that they don't believe in God. We hear that terminology or that articulated many times where people who will say, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual.
Exactly.
And so that's both a challenge, but it's also an opportunity when it comes to reaching and providing some meaningful connection with God for those of us who don't check the box.
Wow.
So it was very fascinating.
Very fascinating.
I'd love to at some point be able to get some of these workshops as people who presenters here as guests at the round table for a full session.
We gotta make it happen. We gotta make it happen. Listen, we promised you, Dan. Pastor Dan
Dan
was
the
gonna
man.
come back.
I like it.
Share with us. You were reverent to go. Pastor Henry pulled you back. Now we're gonna free you.
Okay, sounds great. Well, we were talking earlier about the importance of reaching out to the men in our congregations through men's ministry. I'm the men's ministry director for the Florida Conference. And the whole reason for the existence of our department is to try to encourage churches to have a men's ministry program, to reach out to the men, give them opportunities where they can fellowship together, where they can study the Bible together, where they can have small groups, and also to get involved in the church. We try to mentor the men, help them learn how to be leaders in the church. And not only that, but we like to encourage the men's ministry program to mentor the young men, to take them under their wings and keep them in the fold, so to speak, keep them from wandering away. Now,
so one of the things that we tend not to really talk about, but in our church we have strong male leadership in the pastorate, in church administration, but yet still
in local church, it's not there so much.
It's not there. I mean, where's the disconnect?
Mercy.
What caused that chasm?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that are involved in that. I think that in general, in the local churches, men probably feel a little bit left out, a little bit disenfranchised. I think a lot of men don't feel like they have the skills to be leaders. A lot of men just don't even show up. And so you have to kind of reach them where they're at to start with. And we have to pray for them. And there are a lot of issues, and men have problems with addiction. Pornography is a big factor. You know that like 60 to 70% of men are involved in some type of pornography.
Wow.
And of course that affects their spiritual life.
Sure.
And so marriage is a big issue. A lot of men struggle with their marriages, finances. In men's ministry, we try to address all these things.
Okay.
And we try to give men tools to be better husbands, better fathers, and also to help them with their problems, their addictions, their temptations, the things that they're struggling with. So we also have a number of, throughout the year, we have a number of major events.
Okay.
We have 3 main conventions. This is on the level of the Florida Conference, and I want to tell you, if you're not part of the Florida Conference, you're welcome to participate.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
We want everybody to come in, and we have people at our main English convention every year. We have people from Southeastern Conference. We have people from Georgia. We have people from Tennessee. We have people from the Caribbean, a lot of people from the Caribbean. We have people from Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Trinidad, Guyana, that come in, and they're part of our group there.
So are there opportunities for people to participate in some of these events virtually as well as, or in person, or how?
Unfortunately, right now, everything is in person.
It's in person, okay.
And
all right.
most of them are up at Camp Kalakwa. We have our main our English men's convention is coming up in March. It'll be March 6th through 8th.
Okay.
And we have some fantastic speakers. I don't know if you ever heard of Myron Edmonds.
Yes.
He's probably one of the premier men's leaders in the country right now.
Yes, he is.
He has a podcast on men's issues. He's going to be there. We also have another guy that's coming from the Ontario Conference, and conference president there. That is, I'm trying to remember his name right now. But we also have Cesar De Leon, who is the newly appointed men's ministry director for the North American Division.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's going to be there as well. So if you're interested in coming, you'll get a blessing. We have seminars, we have recreational activities, we have a barbecue on Saturday night.
All right.
We have a special breakfast Sunday morning, and you will be blessed. We have a program for Spanish. We have a program for Haitians. They have their individual convention as well.
Right.
Another thing we do is we have a men's ministry certification cruise every year.
Ooh. Oh, that sounds fun.
The one this year is already filled up.
Man.
But next year will be in December. It'll be December, I think it's 7th through the 14th.
Only in Florida Conference.
And
only in Florida. You do a December
and
cruise.
You can go to that, and we have special classes to teach you how to initiate and establish a men's ministry program in your local church.
Okay.
And if you go through that, you will get a special certification from the North American Division that will make you a bona fide men's ministry director for your church.
Oh, wow, that's phenomenal. So listen, before we get too far afoot, so these events that are coming up, how can our audience find out more about them? Is there a website?
Yes.
Okay.
You can go to the Florida Conference website, and there is a tab there for men's ministries. That'll take you to our webpage. There's a place where you can register. You can also call directly to Camp Kalakwa and tell them that you'd like to register, like for the one that's coming up in March. You can contact me. My number is 407-274-7303, 407-274-7303, or you can email me at dwschiff@msn.com.
Awesome.
And I'll be glad to get back in touch with you, and we'll help you get involved with that. And again, Spanish, Haitian. We're thinking of even having a Brazilian convention in the future.
Right.
We also have regional meetings. This last year, we're always trying to expand our vision, and we're trying to get more local. I mean, the big events are nice, but we know people that live down in Miami and places like that. It's hard for them to drive all the way up to Camp Kalakwa, 300 miles or more. And so if you, we're coming to you now.
Okay.
At the beginning of the year, we're going to have a rally down in Miami. Later on, we had a rally this year here in Orlando area at Spring Meadows Church, one of the larger churches here. And we're going to do that again this coming year. We had a Spanish rally in Deltona. This weekend, there's a big rally going on in the Tampa Spanish Church.
Okay.
And I have a team that works with me. I don't do it all. We got about 15 guys, and they are willing, if you're interested in having us come to your church, individually, we can work that out for you. We can come, we can preach, we can have a little afternoon program, and we can show you exactly how to get men's ministries in your church. Because a lot of churches don't have men's ministries.
Right.
Yeah.
So you talked about, you mentioned some of the ethnic groups that are connected.
Yes.
Do you find a good reception to men's ministry in the subgroups that you connect to? How hard is it to introduce a new subgroup into the men's ministry program?
I don't think it's real hard, but we do have some groups that are more active than others.
Okay.
Like in Florida, probably the most active groups are the West Indies guys.
Okay.
They're a majority of the guys that come to our conventions, but we have quite a few African Americans that come. One of the smaller groups, to be honestly, is the white guys. They're some of the hardest ones to motivate to come.
Okay.
But we're working on that. We're trying to help them understand the importance of it. And the Spanish, too. A lot of conferences, Spanish are one of the biggest groups in men's ministry.
Right.
Florida doesn't seem to be that way.
Wow.
Not yet,
but we're working on it. We're working on it, yeah. We have
right.
excellent speakers coming up at the end of this month. We're having our Spanish convention. We have Minter Labrador from the North American Division coming. Another guy by the name of Jose Pagan, who used to be a pastor here.
Yes.
And they're excellent speakers.
Yes.
We try to get really quality people to come in.
Nice.
So
Good.
you can be inspired.
Good.
But I want to say, those big events are not the whole, that's not where the whole power of men's ministry is found. It's found in the local churches.
Yes.
Those are just to inspire guys, maybe help them make a recommitment to their lives, but we want to send them back to their churches
That's
with a
good.
vision so that they can get the other men involved in their churches. We want to give them tools, and we're trying to make it more of a celebration of what's going on. We have interviews, we have all kinds of things, so people can go back and they can establish a good foundation in the local church.
Let me ask you this, because I think a lot of times we tend to overlook some potential here, but is there any evangelistic value to a local men's ministry group?
Definitely, absolutely. And, again, local men's ministry groups, one of the things we emphasize in those local, we try to have meetings. Some churches have them weekly. That can be a little heavy, but at least once a month.
Right.
And we try to tell them, this isn't just for the church. It's important to the church.
Right.
And it's needed in the church. But it also needs to have a community component where men are going out and doing things in the community. Like, I used to work in the Altamont Springs Church.
Okay.
And we had a program there for young men in the community. We started a community basketball team. And the men in the men's ministry group were coaches in that group. And most of the kids that came to that were not Adventist.
Okay.
Probably 80% of them. We had some in the church that came too. But, a lot of those guys, a few of them started coming to church. We had devotionals with them whenever we had a game.
Right.
We'd have a devotional, we'd have prayer. And believe it or not, that basketball team, 2 years in a row, there is a basketball program in the conference, varsity basketball.
Yes. Huh?
They won the championship 2 years in a row.
Wow.
You go to the church, I think it's still there. You have to ask Dion.
Okay.
But we had a trophy about yay high.
Wow.
With our
Very
name
good.
engraved upon it.
Right.
We also had a program there to help single mothers with their car repairs. We had a guy that worked with the auto auctions, and he would get cars from the auction to give to some of those women that needed a car.
Nice.
And we would fix the cars. We would change the oil in the cars. So, and you can do evangelism too. You can do regular traditional evangelism.
Right.
Teach the guys how to preach. You can do that. You can teach them how to preach. They can preach an evangelistic sermon.
Right.
and invite their friends. We've had young people that preached, young men that preached, and it was again sponsored by the men's ministry program.
Nice.
You know, as you're talking, I can see. My brain is spinning here, but I can see so many of the issues that you mentioned that the men in the church need. There are men in our community that are struggling with pornography, and they know it. I mean,
absolutely.
it's not like there are. We imagine that, well, if you're not a Christian or if you're not in the Adventist church, then pornography is not a big deal. It's just your norm.
Oh no!
But there are guys who know what it's doing to their marriages, know what it's doing to their work life.
Yeah.
There are other issues, that self-esteem of some men, and how society has treated them, and
That's
then
a whole
sometimes
thing.
in their own home
Yes.
with their children or their spouse.
Yes.
That's not just an Adventist issue or an Adventist problem.
In fact, men are being more and more diminished in our society.
Wow.
I mean, you look at some of the things. You look at some of the commercials on TV.
Yeah.
I know you saw that one commercial where they're talking about, I think, Spectrum, and they're having to get rid of, somebody's going to have to leave the house because they have too much bandwidth. And who do they vote out? They vote out the dad. Dad has to leave. You know, he's the least important person in the house. What does that tell a man?
True.
Yeah.
You know, and not only that, but more and more boys are growing up in fatherless homes.
Yes.
They need mentors. They need somebody in their homes, in the church, that can be a father for them.
Right.
You know, like, for example, if you look at these kids that are growing up in these fatherless homes, when they go to school, who are they with all the time? They're with women.
Right.
When they're at home, they're with their mom all the time. And so when they grow up, a lot of them never get the concept of what it really means to be a balanced, effective male.
Sure.
What does it mean to be a male? You go out in the media, what kind of pictures that give you?
Right.
You know, the guy's a heavy drinker, he's a womanizer, you know, he's a gangster, whatever. That's the vision they're given of what it means to be a man.
Wow.
And so in men's ministry, we try to give them a more positive vision that you can be a Christian, you can be a leader, you can have high self-esteem, just like you're saying. And we as fellow men, we need to build those guys up so that they realize they have a purpose in life.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Dan the Man.
Yes.
Thank you so very much for joining us here at the round
It's been
table
my pleasure.
today.
I hope I inspire some of you to get involved in men's ministry.
Well,
Yes.
Give me a call, give me an email.
We look forward.
We'll do whatever we can to get you involved.
Well, we here at Pastors Roundtable are excited to share ministry. Our goal is to make sure that we talk about ministry and structure. We have a structure of men's ministry. Now we need to really get men's ministry involved.
That's right.
In our
That's
structure.
right. You
Man,
don't have it
thank
in
you.
your church, get it started.
Yes, sir.
We'll do
Yes,
whatever
sir.
we can to help you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing me to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Enjoyed it.
Listen, at Pastors Roundtable, we are here. This is the last day for Rise. Tonight we'll be back. They're preparing right now. I'm looking into the room.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
switching the room around. It's going to become a banquet hall. Tonight's the banquet. And so we are looking forward to that tonight, where we will be able to see. Here we go. We're gonna go on in.
I think I'm in the wrong one.
There we go. All right. So our cameraman is going in to the banquet room. They're setting it up. Tonight's going to be the night that is going to. We're going to have our time of laughter and fellowship among the pastors as we bring the curtain down on the Rise convention here at the Southern Union. We look forward to you being with us this evening as we share our last presentation from here. Remember, we will strive to make ministry relevant, resource, and real. Take care, and we'll see you soon.